I'm going to tell you a true story about a woman who desperately wanted to live, but who was about to die. The year was 1946, and the story begins in the Heuser home. This had always been a happy home, full of the warmth and love one expects to find in a large family. Yes, the Heusers were a happy family in those days, happy until the black cloud of sickness engulfed them in gloom. Mrs. Heuser fell ill. Her symptoms had seemed unimportant at first. She had experienced a few minor digestive upsets, but presently she could hardly eat anything at all without becoming sick. Several doctors were consulted, and she was told she had a serious gallbladder disorder and that her liver was diseased. A strict diet was prescribed. She had to watch very closely what she ate. The least bit of fat or grease would often give her digestive upsets that would last for days. But her troubles were just beginning. The liver is an important organ. It plays an essential role in the formation of blood cells, and the progressive degeneration of her liver function brought on severe anemia. Blood-building liver shots were prescribed, and she took them regularly. Nevertheless, her anemia worsened, and she became weaker and weaker, until she was down in bed more than she was up and about. She was unable to look after her family and home as she had always done. In her fight against illness, the final blow fell when she learned that her heart also was failing and under severe strain because of the anemia. Finally, at only 51 years of age, she was flat on her back in bed. At 51, most women are enjoying a leisurely, happy life. The children are grown and on their ways to careers, and the mother has more time for church and travel and sports events and all the things that she has worked toward through the years. But Mrs. Heuser was rapidly failing. I can tell you these things because Mrs. Heuser is my mother. Now understand, she had the best attention available. She had been to a famous and fine hospital for diagnosis and treatment. She had followed instructions to the letter, all to no avail. It was a distressing situation for all of us. She would break into tears frequently. Her depression was bottomless, and the family was desperate for a solution. We were slightly acquainted with a chiropractor we had met at church. One Sunday morning after services, my father asked him if there was anything he could do for my mother, and told him we had heard of chiropractic, but knew nothing whatever about it. The doctor asked Dad a few pertinent questions about her condition, and Dad answered them. And the doctor said that chiropractic is often very effective in conditions like mother's. He said we should bring her in for an examination, so we took her to him as a last resort. We felt that since she was sliding rapidly downhill anyway, it could do no harm to try chiropractic. That decision, made 15 years ago, proved to be the first step in Mother's journey back to normal health. She's now 66 years old, very much alive and enjoying life. She recognizes no restrictions on her activities. She bowls every week. She plays with the grandchildren. She enjoys her church and club activities. She's having a grand time living. Her recovery from near death to normal health was a powerful influence on the entire family. At that time, my brother and I were college students at Washington University, but the amazing reversal in Mother's health influenced us to investigate chiropractic as a profession. Realizing the wonderful opportunities, we transferred to Chiropractic College, where we began the additional 4 years of intensive training necessary to become a doctor of chiropractic. Mother's recovery had seemed like a miracle, but I know now, as a doctor in practice, that there was nothing miraculous about it. Chiropractic is a science, and chiropractors are specialists of the spine and nerves. The basic tenet of chiropractic is based on sound scientific observation. That basic tenet is this: the human body can cure its own disease, provided there is no interference with normal nerve functions. Chiropractic adjustments normalize body structure and thereby remove the major cause of interference with normal nerve function. Let me illustrate. If the frame of your car is twisted or damaged so that the wire leading to the headlights is pinched, a short circuit is likely to develop and the headlights will fail to work. When this happens, it makes no difference what kind of gas you put in a tank. It makes no difference what additive you put in the gas, and it makes no difference what kind of oil you use. The headlights will not work until the cause of the trouble is corrected. It is the same with the human body. When the frame, especially the spine, becomes twisted or strained, even slightly, the nerves leading from the twisted area to an internal organ are likely to be impinged. Thus, vital nerve energy necessary to the proper function of that organ is reduced or cut off. Without adequate nerve supply, all tissues, including internal organs, including muscles and glands, are unable to work as they are designed to work. The answer to such a situation is chiropractic adjustments, adjustments that correct the misalignment of the spinal bones. When the spinal bones are in correct alignment, nerve fibers are no longer impinged and are able once again to conduct the vital nerve impulse. Many people wonder what happens when you go to a chiropractor and how he works. My mother's experience, being typical, serves as a good example. Do you remember the situation? My mother was critically ill. She had given up hope, and her going to a chiropractor was a last resort. Her chiropractor explained in the beginning that chiropractic restores health by normalizing faulty body structure. She gave the history of her condition, and he carefully recorded the pertinent facts. He told her that chiropractors do not accept all cases, but help nearly all they accept. His acceptance of her as a patient would depend upon the results of a thorough examination. With his sensitive fingers, he examined her spine to determine the points of misalignment. In this preliminary examination, he found indications of nerve impingement. He took X-ray pictures of her spine and explained that in many cases, X-ray pictures are essential to a chiropractor. He uses them as a guide in much the same way that a building contractor uses blueprints as a guide. The X-ray picture revealed that the spinal bones were out of alignment and definitely impinging nerves leading to several vital organs, including the liver. The doctor recommended a series of chiropractic adjustments to relieve the impinged nerves. Mother had little faith that anything could help her, but at the family's insistence, she agreed at last to take the adjustments. She was surprised how gentle and easy the adjustments were. After a month of regular adjustments, she felt no better and was ready to quit. The chiropractor told her that last resort cases account for more than half the 2 million new patients who consult chiropractors each year. It takes time to get well, he explained, just as it takes time to get sick. The adjustment restores the vertebra to its rightful position, but the vertebra has a tendency to slip back into the old disease-causing position. Vertebrae slightly out of alignment and impinging nerves are called subluxations, and these subluxations must be readjusted regularly until the supporting structures and tissues are strong enough to hold them in proper position. It takes time to relieve nerve impingement, and it takes time for the nerve to heal. Then, when the nerve is conducting the vital impulse as it should, it usually takes additional time for the affected organ to heal. He explained that restoring health is like restoring a withered, dried up and leafless tree that has been in a drought. You don't put water on it tonight and expect it to have lush green foliage tomorrow, or expect a withered plant to burst into full bloom the next day. Likewise, it takes time for nature's healing processes to come into full bloom when disease has been dominant a long time. Just be patient, he told her. All indications are that your nerves are responding. You'll soon be noticing improvement. He continued and said that gaining health is like taking a trip. While often you can take a shortcut back home, sometimes the only way back is to return over the original path and go through the same towns. Sometimes this is also the case in traveling the road from disease to health, and a patient might have to pass through some of the same symptoms and problems that he experienced in traveling the path to disease, and it is not uncommon for a patient to temporarily re-experience a type of discomfort or distress that hasn't been present for months or years. This is called retracing. Finally, when nerves that have been numb from severe pressure start rejuvenating and returning to normal, they may cause considerable discomfort in the form of temporary aches or pains. This is called reaction and can be compared to the discomfort one experiences when one's arm or leg goes to sleep, then returns to normal. Temporarily, it's a distressing situation, but the final outcome is what really counts. Fortunately, reaction only occurs in about 15% of the cases. It was good that he explained these things to Mother, because she experienced both of them. Old symptoms reoccurred after lying dormant for years, and it was natural for her to feel she was becoming worse. For one period of 10 days, she experienced considerable nerve reaction as the nerves began to normalize after years of severe pressure. Because of the doctor's explanation, and because she realized the truth of the matter, and because she understood the process of retracing and reaction, Mother continued to take the adjustments, and before the end of the 3rd month, she knew she was getting better. She could feel life and strength returning to her. She was able to eat again anything she liked, and she enjoyed her food with no digestive upsets. She could walk to church and sit through the service without becoming tired. Household tasks no longer fatigued her, and she enjoyed once again a simple thing like preparing a meal for her family, whom she dearly loved. The Heuser home was a home again full of happiness. Her heart condition gradually improved, and after 1 year of chiropractic care, heart grafts were normal, blood counts were normal, she was no longer anemic, the liver was functioning as it should, her digestion was excellent. The sickness was gone because the chiropractic adjustments had turned the power on, the same power that heals a cut and mends broken bones, the same power that makes children grow, the same power that makes the whole body work in harmony. This story had its beginning 15 years ago, but it has no end. It goes on and on. It is duplicated every day in thousands of chiropractic offices all over the world. Now, nearly everyone knows that chiropractic is effective for such things as headache, backache, arthritis, rheumatism, and sciatica. And every day, more people discover for themselves that chiropractic is also wonderfully effective for internal conditions, digestive problems, asthma, kidney trouble, constipation, and a host of other conditions. It's no longer true to say that everything has been done unless chiropractic is included. It is my heartfelt prayer that this message will give you hope, encouragement, and understanding in your quest for health through chiropractic. And I know that in turn, you will help others by telling them about chiropractic.